Hello. Welcome. Today, I'm going to be talking about Kickstarter, and in particular, Kickstarter Food. I am the outreach lead for Food, and my name is Terry Hope Romero. What I'd like to show you now is my backer profile. Here I am. I love Kickstarter, and I love to back projects on Kickstarter. I backed over 186. So as a creator, you should be interested in your backers. And these are the people that are going to help bring your project to life. And this is just an example of some of the things that I've recently helped fund. So right now, we're going to talk about some of the stats behind Kickstarter. But before that, I just want to go into a little bit about some of our categories. We have 15 categories on the site, and our creators choose what category they want to put their project into. But for example, we have journalism, design, crafts, comics, film and video, and food. So to date, we've had over 90,000 projects funded and $1.8 billion pledged to these projects. And Kickstarter is an international platform. People from nearly every country on Earth have backed a project on Kickstarter, including Antarctica. So a few more stats here. 8.6 million total backers. And this is one I really love. 30% of these backers have pledged to more than one project. So they come to Kickstarter attracted by one project, and they keep coming back for more excitement. So 60% of the money on Kickstarter comes from these repeat backers. So we've really created a wonderful community all these years of people who really are excited to see what kind of new projects are coming to life. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the impact on culture from these wonderful Kickstarter projects. There have been many Academy Award-winning films, including this one, Innocente. There are many amazing design and technology projects that have been exhibited at the MoMA, at the Whitney Biennial, at the Kennedy Center, the Smithsonian, just to name a few. And this is one I really get excited about. Hundreds of places to eat and drink and see movies have been funded on Kickstarter around the world. And this is just the United States alone. And not only are many of those tech and design projects I talked about before beautiful, but they also serve a wonderful purpose as well. This one is looking for landmines to detonate. And this is going back to some of our collaborations. We've worked with the MoMA to feature many of these wonderful design projects in the MoMA Design Store. This is the 3D Doodler. Super fun and exciting. And going back to some of those art projects, again, there have been many wonderful art collaborations across the globe to just beautify the world that we see around us. And this was a favorite, bringing back a childhood favorite, Reading Rainbow, brought a lot of people together to bring back reading and the excitement around learning to children today. And this is a really great one. A lot of projects have been launched into space, including a slice of pizza. So I'm going to go a little bit into the nitty-gritty about how Kickstarter works. So what is a Kickstarter project? So it must fit into one of those 15 categories I showed before. Again, you choose what that is. So we insist that projects be clearly and honestly presented. And just some basic ground rules: you cannot fundraise for charity, offer financial incentives, or involve any prohibited items. So this is an example of a live project. They pretty much all look very similar or set up the same. You see the backers, you see the amount has been pledged and what they need to reach and how much time is left in the project. And with that big green button, you can back a project. And the description below, there's often a video and much, much more that I'll go into later. So one thing that distinguishes Kickstarter is that we are an all or nothing platform. And that means that you need to reach your minimum goal in the amount of time that you specify. And why do we do this? Because it works, it's less risky for everyone, for the backers and the creators, and it also provides a compelling reason to go ahead and back that project right now. So a little bit about those stats and about projects. So 40% of all projects reach their funding goal, and that's across all categories. So a little more, you're wondering, how am I going to get people into my project and to back my project? Just to keep this in mind, 70% of those projects that didn't meet their goal didn't get a single pledge. You know someone that will help you back your project. We guarantee it. Okay, and something else to keep in mind, 79% of projects that raised more than 20% of their goal were successfully funded. We call this the tipping point. And 75% of projects that reached 25 backers were successfully funded. Again, think about that 70% that did not get anyone. If you know at least 25 people that could back your project, you're probably going to get there. So this is just across the categories again. Most projects on Kickstarter raise between $1,000 and $10,000. I'm going to go a little bit into my favorite category on Kickstarter, food. It's a wild and wonderful category. These are some details that you might like to know. So we've had well over 4,000, climbing up to 5,000 successfully funded food projects. And that means over $86 million pledged to this category alone. Over 721,000 backers and counting have contributed to food projects on Kickstarter. And just to give you an idea of what I mean by a food project on Kickstarter, that includes kitchen hardware and gadgets and cooking tools, consumer packaged goods, either doing pre-sales or using a Kickstarter project to develop their product or concept that they're working on, that company. We've had many restaurants, food trucks, food events, pop-ups, and bakeries as well. Bakeries are huge on Kickstarter. Small farms, community gardens, and farmers markets of all kinds on Kickstarter have gotten a boost. We have pretty much everything represented when it comes to drinks. We have breweries, distilleries, coffee roasters, and coffee shops. And my favorite, cookbooks. And we've also had many cooking shows as well, and all kinds of food periodicals, magazines, zines, you name it, all have been funded on Kickstarter. So, a little bit more about food. The average funding goal is $48,000, and the average amount raised is $16,000. 54.4% is the success rate of projects with at least 10 backers. 10 backers, that's all it takes. And 67.8% for 25 backers. So I'm going to go into some projects I really like that have been successfully funded. This is the Nomiku. It is a sous vide machine. This is the new version of it. It was on Kickstarter twice. And this was a wonderful project, had way over 5,000 backers pledged to bring this project to life. This is the Birchwood Cafe. Over 980 backers believed in this cafe that serves wholesome food with produce and other ingredients from local farmers. This is a project with a wonderful video, Omnivore Salt. Over 3,000 people pledged to bring this recipe created by Angelo Garo to life, a delicious salt. And this is really cool. This is a farm that already was in operation, but wanted to become a local farm, bringing great food to the community, and it wanted to become even more sustainable by installing solar panels. So over 846 people pledged to this farm to make it an even more sustainable and functional farm. And this is great. This is a line of fair trade chocolate-infused baking mixes for cake and brownies. They got their start here on Kickstarter, and now you could find this on shelves in various Whole Foods and other markets across the country. And this is a wonderful site. It's at coffeecsa.org. This is a site that a bunch of backers, almost 200 backers, pledged because they wanted to get coffee from fair trade sources and be directly connected and know more about the farmers that grow their coffee. So a little bit about what is a Kickstarter project? How do you build a great one? So each one needs to tell a story. You have a story to tell, and we want to create a place for you to tell that story to connect with the people who will care about it most. So the most exciting parts of that is a video, the rewards, that's how you're going to share what you make, and the updates. This is how you're going to keep people engaged, during your project and well after. So each one tells a story, a little bit about videos. This is a kind of a really fun cut of a bunch of videos, just to give you an idea that's really about connecting with you, the creator.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
What's up, people?
Hi.
Hey. Hello. I thought we were gonna do hello.
Hi.
I love your new shoes. Are those new shoes?
Hi, my name is Raquel.
And I could go on, but this is a Kickstarter campaign video, and I haven't even told you what my project is yet.
So the idea is this.
I'm writing a book.
A feature film.
Stop motion animations.
Sci-fi music video album.
Let people actually be able to buy a couture dress that they themselves
I
design.
want to make a new graphic novel, and I want you to get some original art.
This time I decided to write things that were more lyrical.
I hope to make something strange and unique for you to enjoy.
I made a film called Codependent Lesbian Space Alien Seek Same.
Right now, I'm sitting on over 200 hours of incredible footage.
I'd like your help to complete it.
Cut out all that extraneous stuff, all those extraneous costs, and get to the point, which is simply more art in front of more people.
The last piece of the puzzle is going to be you.
We cannot do this without you. We can't.
We need you to be a part of this. This is a collaborative experience.
If you back this Kickstarter project, you will be cool and everybody will like you.
I want to make a show that you don't just watch. Something unpredictable, strange, and maybe even amazing.
So let's do this thing.
I'm really excited for this. I think that this is worth doing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our Kickstarter video.
Let's go make a story.
We can make it together.
All right, that was great. Now let's talk about project rewards. All you're doing is just sharing what you're making. This can be part of also sharing your creative process or creating an experience for people as well. So a little bit just generally about rewards. $25 is the most common pledge. 5 to 7, the ideal number of reward tiers. It's really just keeps your life simpler too. And you're gonna have to do a lot of work once you start fulfilling those rewards. So sometimes less is more. And $100 is also an important number to keep in mind. This is the tier that overall generates the most money for the creator. A little bit about some rewards from some of my favorite projects. This is the Lotus and Artichoke Sri Lankan cookbook. It's the third cookbook from this creator on Kickstarter. And he has a lot of experience with Kickstarter and creating rewards, so he decided, I'm just gonna go with what I know my backers really like. His e-cookbook download for €5 was one of the most popular ones and created 19% of the backers and 3% of the money. He also offered printed cookbooks, of course, and 18% of backers were drawn to this, and that gave him 12% of the money. And for €100, you could get all 3 of his cookbooks, including his previous works, printed and e-downloaded as well. And that was, while that was 6% of the backers, it created 15% of his money. So again, keeping that 100 in mind. This is a lovely cookie. It's crunchy and it has green peas in it. It's really, really delicious. And the most obvious reward that people are going to want are cookies. So this creator had a lot of different rewards offering different flavors and different combinations of how many cookies you can get. But overwhelmingly, people wanted the basic 24 cookies for $10. 35% of backers went for that, and that created 17% of the money for them. And going back to that 100 number, for $100, you can get 102 cookies, all different flavors, including a chocolate dipped one, and a pullover and some stickers just for fun. While that was just 2% of backers opted for that, that was 8% of the money. Not bad, but yet again, sometimes people just want the basic, beginner set. They want to taste what you're making, especially because it's food. And this is a food truck, the Cinnamon Snail food truck. And again, the people really just want food. And overwhelmingly, their basic reward to go to the truck and get a basic entree like a sandwich and a pastry was $25 for them. And that attracted 35% of their backers and raised 17% of their money. So again, with food, people often wonder, what do people want? What should I give them? Give them what you're making. figure out a way, either, if you have experience with shipping, or if you have them come to your, your location, they want to taste what you're making. So, and of course, let's not forget the good old $1 or $5 high five reward. While probably making food for people at that level doesn't make sense, people overwhelmingly will want to support what you're doing. They just love what you're doing. So you could just either give them a shout out on social media, or one of the really nice ones I've seen at this level in like a physical restaurant is actually creating a wall with backer names on it, painting someone's name on there. A lot of people really love that. They really appreciate that. So updates. Updates are the third in the series of what makes what makes a Kickstarter project. So this is gives people a glimpse into your creative process and really makes your backers feel connected and special. So again, updates sort of have like a life cycle. There is that first update you do, really important. You should do that as soon as your project goes live and people start backing your project. This is from Breeding Rainbow. Just a thank you, thanking people. Just letting them know I really appreciate that you're here and you're helping me with my journey. And as you get further along, a lot of stuff happened for this project on their day one. It was a really exciting 24 hours for them. So they went into great detail about having their 85 backers and getting like some notice on Kickstarter. So think about ways that you can just create updates that just tell people, celebrate the process of what you're doing. Maybe it's not day one, maybe it's day 5, but there are many ways you can include people in the discussion. So this is another way. This is going further down in the process. You could talk about your achievements. 43% of the way there for this restaurant. They were highlighting not just hitting that goal, but also some of the press that they've been getting as well. And while this is early on for this project, you could also talk about other events that you're going to be at. For food people, you might be having a pop-up. And that's a wonderful way to bring people in when you have a live project. Give away ice cream sandwiches. That is exciting news to me. So again, as you go through the 30 days or 35 days or 40 days or whatever you choose, up to 60 days for your project, you're gonna be wondering, what else can I talk to people about? Depending on what's going on, maybe you have other reward ideas. You can always post a new reward on your live project. And with this wonderful project, they created a new flavor of the various vegan meats that they were doing. They made vegan bacon, and they opened up as a new reward. So that was well into their project. And again, it's a wonderful way to generate some buzz about what you're doing. And then you hit your goal. That can always happen, when you have either a couple hours to go or maybe a couple days to go. So celebrate that as well. Let people know. And this wonderful mushroom farm, they were offering some really cool, funky mushroom art to celebrate hitting their goal for their backers. So, at some point, after everything is settled, when you've hit your goal and the time has elapsed and you are officially done, let people know what else is going on. Celebrate by, thanking them again, or giving them updates about progress. So here are some examples that I really liked. This is a restaurant that is, finally, getting into the space and building up, some of their lights and some of their countertops. And sometimes also you might hit bumps in the road of whatever you're doing, and that's okay too. Be not afraid to share any of the setbacks with your backers, because this will make them only more understanding of, you're just a human and you're trying out something brand new. And this creator here is talking about she was having some shipment delays for some of the supplies that she needed to make her product. So share that information. And you can always send this particularly to just separate individual backer reward tiers. So this doesn't have to be public all the time, but definitely you can loop in backers as you need to. And of course, there's always down the road, months, maybe even years later, you can tell everyone about what is going on with your project. Your backers are basically your family when it comes to the creation of what you're doing. And this is some really cool stuff. This is yet another restaurant breaking ground. well after their project has been done. This is that cookbook that I talked about earlier. This is all, they're getting ready to ship everything. Really cool, exciting update. And this is that barn that I talked about earlier before. This is a solar panel. Years later, they finally have the solar panel up and running. So again, keep people in the loop. It's really exciting to get good news like this. So backers are super important, just as people that make creative projects. And remember that backers are not just a crowd, they're a community of people that believe in what you do. And we have many resources on the site. We're constantly adding more for backers and creators to understand how Kickstarter works. And this one is essential if even you want to start creating a project or just want to kind of take a peek into what goes into a project. The Creator Handbook has lots of wonderful information to help get you started right away. It's super user-friendly. And if you want to learn more about food on Kickstarter, go ahead and go to kickstarter.com/food, and you could see what's going on, what's new, what's most popular, and what's happening in the food category. Thanks again.